fill it with, okay, so if the family, so the house is empty, and so when the family moves in, what does, so it's never been lived in. So when you fill this house, would you say that that's family is a first fruit? I'm adding another little element to this meaning of Bet. Okay, so, okay, what kind of family? Is this a Chinese family, or is it an Indian family, or is it what? Okay, the number 2 gives you a clue of what this family is. Okay. Okay, two Bet, two house. Which characteristic is there? Which family has two? The two houses of Israel. So it's the house of Israel. It's the house of Israel. To Pharaoh, what did he say? Israel is my what? Exactly. So this is a first fruit family. So it's the firstborn. It's the first fruit. And it can also, all right. So if it's the first family in the house is also could be, if they're going to be future houses, this family is, you can say, is the seed. First seed. All right. Now I'm going to add something to this. And this house is also an ark. We've never looked at this before as an ark, but it is an ark. So this is an intro to the word I want to look at today, is the word ark. So there are two words for ark, but the first one is called Hateba. It is the word for ark, Noah's ark. So each time Noah's ark is mentioned, it's this exact same spelling, Hateba. And so now, so in the Hebrew thinking, the ark, on both sides of this ark, it reveals something. Reveal something in the beginning, reveal something at the end. Okay. So if this was an ark, if the first ark was water, right? That what came into the ark? Family, but in the story of the ark, every species of insects, animals, birds were coming to the ark because they were going to be the seed that's going to be to repopulate the earth after the water destroyed it. So this ark right here is like a seed pod. All the animals, all the birds came into the ark and were protected. They were the seed for life. And so this house, Beth, is also acting in the same function. It is going to be a house where you are going to be protected. You're going to find safety. And then and right between these two what if the story of the ark started with water, it ends with fire? Both are cleansing agents. How about the house is New Jerusalem? Just adding some thoughts. So he says, I'm going to my father, I'm building a house, right? A mansion, I'm building rooms. There were rooms in the ark. So we're taken from this earth and going to find safety in the new, we're not going to be, or what they call heaven is actually the New Jerusalem. And so we're going to find safety while the earth is being cleansed. So in that millennium, 1,000 years, how many, okay, so the ark was, I mean, the earth was being cleansed for how many days and how many nights? 40, right? 40 days and 40 nights. And it's a time of cleansing. It's a time of, I mean, as Israel left Egypt, 40 years, it's a time of undoing and relearning. It's learning to follow the Father's and His ways and His, so they could reflect His image. Okay, so in the New Jerusalem, those 40 years, or I mean, okay, it's interesting, a millennium has 40 cycles of 40. 40 times 25 is 1,000. 5 cycles of 40. I found it interesting. I'm not quite sure how it's related, I mean, you know, but I know that every year we have our 7 appointed times. Those are cycles, because something in these appointed times it's not simply just keeping a feast and celebrating a holiday. Like in India, the Hindus celebrate their festival of Diwali, or the festival of lights, every year. And so every year they put up lights all around the house. They buy new outfits, and so they wear new outfits, good outfits, on that day, and go to each other's neighbors and share sweets. But they do that every year. But it's a cycle, but nothing happens in that cycle. All they're doing is buying sweets, buying new clothes, and that thing. But in terms of where growth is happening. So unleavened breads, you're learning to eat only unleavened breads those 7 days. So literally, you're learning to just eat the Torah for 7 days. And so when you study the Torah for 7 days, something happens mentally. In your mind, something is happening, something is transforming. So now in between, if this is revealing something, which is the letter of completion, and you have the letter Bet, which is maybe the completion of, this is about the completion of the building of the house, or the restoration. And so Bet also means to restore and to redeem the house. So now I want to look at the other ark. And for those of us who don't know what this is the ancient Hebrew letters. This is the formal Hebrew letters, and this is the ancient Hebrew letters as they appeared originally 3,000 some years ago. Okay, I'll give you a little history lesson. All right, Egypt. In the Egyptian Empire was one of the longest lasting empires on this earth. And they continuously, and the religion of the Egyptians was highly developed. And the Egyptians were very, very preoccupied with the afterlife. Their afterlife was, or the place of after, like the Muslims, their afterlife is what? Paradise with what? How many women? Whatever. That's their idea of paradise. But the Egyptians' paradise was called the land of reeds. That was the Egyptian paradise. They believed that their life on this earth was not the end. They believed that there was life after this earth, that God would resurrect life again. And so they were very consumed with being able to get to that afterlife. And they were very concerned about sin. And so as part of their preparation for the afterlife, dressing in white was very important because it represented sinlessness. And so their gods, many of their gods were involved in things leading to and preparing you for the afterlife and making sure that you get the afterlife, the Egyptian gods. Anything around funerals and all that were very, very highly developed and was very, very important as part of their teaching of their religion about the afterlife. And so, since they were, so I'd like to look at the word, ark. Okay, so the Egyptians also had a very thick book called the Book of the Dead, which listed all the things you had to do to make sure that your transition from this life to the afterlife will go smoothly. And so the Egyptian pyramids were all part of this dealing with the afterlife. So there's another word for ark in the Torah. Oh, before I go there, I'll tell you a really interesting thing. Going back to the other ark. I don't want to miss this. All right. I want to look at the numerical value of this word hateba. Hay. What's this numerical value of hay? The letter hay. 5 represents the Torah. What's the numerical value of tav? What is the numerical value of bet? 2. And 5 again. What does that equal? 412, right? This is the word for ark. Okay. Let us look at the word bet, right? The house. It is... I'm just forgetting to write this. Okay, that's the word for house, right? Bet, Yod, and Tav. What is the numerical value of Bet? Is 2. Yod is what? 10. And Tav is 400, right? What does it equal? Isn't it interesting that the word Bet and Ark are the same? So this numerical value tells you that one of the meanings for Bet is Ark as well. There's proof in the evidence. It's incredible how connected. No detail is left unwritten by the Father's finger. Oh, something else. This is the word Yateb, right? This is Bet and this is Hateba. Yateb. It means I want to dwell, right? Numerical value is what? The Yod is 10, 400, and 2 equals 412. The Father saying through these words, I want to dwell with this family, with my people Israel. Because the Bet is the house of Israel. Sorry, I forgot that detail, so. Okay. We can just take a picture. You know, the more I learn about this, it tells me how much the Father loves me, how much the Father loves us, how much He cares for us. Yeah, so the Egyptians were so concerned about transportation of this of our bodies into the afterlife, and that's the sole reason why they developed the art of mummification, or to make mummies, so that when you die, they preserve your body, because it's easier for the body to. I mean, it's a less work, because the body's still intact, and so when the time for the afterlife is there, to revive that body, and that's why they created ways to create mummies, especially for the pharaohs and all that, so that they will not have as long a period of transformation to be reborn, or to fill that body back with life. So now I want to look at the Hebrew word, another Hebrew word for ark. It is okay. It is the word ha'aron. It is the word for ark. So this word ark is the ark that they built in the sanctuary and the most holy and all. So it's a different word. And so Noah's ark, that ark is different than this ark. So this is the Ark of the Covenant. And so this ark, it means coffin. It means burial box. Interesting, huh? So the Ark of the Covenant is actually, so the Ark of Covenant was being carried, so that always wherever Israel traveled, it went first. So what God is trying to tell you through the Ark of the Covenant, it is his answer to what the Egyptians had for the afterlife. He's saying, I am the God of the afterlife. And above this coffin or burial box is the mercy seat. And all the Egyptians were so caught up about their sin factor in their going to the afterlife. And so God gave in intentional sin and all these kind of things because he's talking about his version of the afterlife. And so anyway, so he was, everything that he was doing was his answer to the Egyptians' preoccupation with and the journey into the afterlife. Because he's saying, I am the afterlife. So his funeral box is composed of a seed. It's composed of man's mind being filled with the Father's wisdom, or Elohim. Reveal the Father's wisdom filling man's mind, and it's to reveal the seed. So what was in the funeral box? And what else?
Oh, the tablets, the first two tablets, right?
Yeah. And what is this? What is all this? What are all these depictions depicting of?
Life.
Exactly. What he says of the Torah? It is a tree of life. The budding rod is another example of life. The manna, you eat this, it's life. The funeral box has all these things of life. And when Joseph said, he was already making preparation because all the people in important positions had very elaborate preparations for the afterlife. And Joseph says, this is my preparation. I want my bones to be transported to the land where there's life, flowing with milk and honey. So the Ark of the Covenant is God's answer to everything that Egypt was preoccupied with, death. And he's saying, I am the God of life, And my funeral box is not a box of death. There's life in it. It is a type of ark. Okay. Let us look at the numerical value of these letters. Hey, hey, 5. Aleph is 1. Resh is how much? 200. And Nun is 50. 256. All right. Who is the high priest? It's interesting. Who was the high priest? Aaron was the first high. So if this was a funeral box, he becomes the priest that oversees the funeral, right? The journey of the funeral from the land of death into the land of life, right? So what is the spelling of Aaron's name? Oh, let's draw this thing out here. So the Aleph represents God or Elohim, His wisdom. Here's the seed, here's the man's mind, here's the revelation, and here's our Father's wisdom. Okay, let's do this here. What is the numerical value of Aleph? Is 1, 200. Nun is 50. What does that equal? I heard it whisper. 256. So Aaron, who is the high priest, his name is the same numerical value as the Ark of the Covenant. Direct connection, direct relationship. He's the one who's presiding, or all the functions surrounding the funeral box, or where the seat of mercy sits. Anyway, that's all, folks, for this lesson. Let's bow our heads for a quick word of prayer. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for your Torah. Thank you for how you, even in the letters, keep on hitting us, giving us so much beautiful lessons. It only testifies to your greatness and to your wisdom, that no detail has been left out. Father, if you care so much about the details in life, how much more do you care that, and really encouraging us to really seek you with all our heart. And as we seek you with all our heart, that we begin to more and more reflect and reveal who you are to all those around. We become that light. Thank you for sharing these things with us, and may in this week really encourage us to really pursue you, so that we ask these things according to your word. Amen.